If you ignore this voice right now, if you let your attention wander in the next few moments, the next 10 years will pass just like the last 10. The same waiting, the same empty pockets, the same broken trust, the same question. Why does this always happen to me? And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because I am God, and at this moment, I am speaking directly to your consciousness. I have watched you for a long time. I have seen the nights you went to bed hungry, the nights you had tears in your eyes but a smile on your face, so your family wouldn't know. I have seen the rejections where your hard work was ignored. I have seen the moments when you didn't ask God for anything, only for strength. And perhaps that's why you are here today, because not everyone receives this message. Not everyone's aura is clear enough for God to communicate with them directly. But you are different. And I am saying this in very clear terms. Today, God has decided that your story will now move forward not with pain, but with miracles. Your struggle wasn't a punishment. It was preparation. Your hunger, your tears, your loneliness, your brokenness, everything was preparing you for the energy you can now handle. And that energy is moving towards you right now. You feel it, don't you? That slight warmth in your chest, the changing rhythm of your heartbeat. This is no coincidence. It's a sign. It's a signal from God that the game is changing. Now, the same world that ignored you will listen to you. The same people who didn't understand your worth will now add respect to your name. And I'm not asking you to imagine this. I'm reminding you because your soul has already seen all of this. That notification on your phone screen, that call, that message where an amount appears in your account that will initially make you think your eyes are deceiving you. Your heart will pound, your hands will tremble, and in that moment you'll realize, yes, this is the moment I've been preparing for years. 926 crore dollars is not just a number. It symbolizes the energy that takes you from a mindset of debt to a mindset of freedom. It's the end of the fear that grips you before the end of every month. It's the end of the shame you felt when asking others for help. And I know a voice in your mind is still saying, "How is this possible?" But remember, every miracle begins with something that seems impossible. And I am the same universe that turned a seed into a forest, that created life in the dark womb, that brought about the greatest changes without a sound. And today, that same power has become active for you because you didn't give up, because you didn't let your heart become bitter, because even when the world broke you, you didn't abandon your humanity. And this is the quality that separates millionaires from the merely wealthy. You are not just worthy of money, you are worthy of responsibility. And so now, the scene unfolds before you where you open the doors of that grand house where peace hangs on the walls, not fear, where car keys are for pleasure, not necessity, where your children's education is a joy, not a burden, where you don't think about your bank balance when helping someone. And all this is not happening because you uttered some magic words. It's happening because you maintained the right patience until the right time. And now I'm also warning you, if you abandon this message midway, if you revert to your old way of thinking, you will return to the same timeline where everything happens slowly. But if you persevere, if you accept within yourself that yes, I am worthy of this, then in the next few moments, the patterns of your life will begin to change. People will suddenly start contacting you. Opportunities will come through doors you never even imagined, and you will understand that this is not a one-night miracle. It is a permanent transformation. This is the point of no return, and that's why I've come to tell you that stopping now is not an option. Doubt is old energy. Now you have only one task: to remain steadfast in your faith, to keep your aura clear, to recognize the signs, and when that first tangible evidence appears, do not be afraid. Many people are afraid of their own miracles, but you won't be, because you are ready. And if in this moment your heart is telling you that something is changing, then this is the moment where you nod in agreement with God and say, I accept. I accept the life that was waiting for me. And remember, I am not leaving you alone. I will continue to send you signs every step of the way, in dreams, in coincidences, in the words of others. And if you believe in this miracle, if you truly feel that your time has come, then declare your energy. Because when you speak, God listens. Write that 926 crore dollars is coming to you and watch how the paths open up on their own. And now that you've reached this point, understand that this is no coincidence. Because God doesn't bring anyone halfway. It only brings those whose souls are ready to carry the next burden. And I'm telling you that the moment you decided to listen to this message further, your energy made a new agreement. Old fears, old limitations, the memory of old poverty are now slowly separating from your aura, like an old garment that no longer fits your body. And you may not even realize it yet, but in the last few minutes, your breathing has changed. The burden on your shoulders has lightened. This is because when the truth approaches, the body reacts first. And the truth is that you were never unlucky. You were simply demanding results before their time. I have seen you crying alone in your room. When you shed silent tears after seeing your bank balance on your mobile screen. I have seen you hiding from your loved ones. When you said everything was fine, while everything was falling apart inside. And I'm reminding you of all this so that when the 926 crore dollars becomes a tangible reality before you, you don't panic. Because many people are afraid of the height of their dreams, but you won't be afraid because you know that this wealth is not a test, but your reward. It is for the soul that never took what belonged to others. The soul that tried to fill others even when it was empty itself. And so now I am showing you the scene that you tried to suppress again and again. That dream where you enter a house where there is the fragrance of peace. Where the walls make you feel safe, not afraid. Where your name is spoken with respect. And all this doesn't come from ego. All of this stems from a quiet confidence that says, I no longer need to prove myself. I simply need to live. And when I say 926 crore dollars, it doesn't just mean a growing number in your bank account. It means the freedom of choice. Knowing that if an opportunity arises tomorrow, you will choose it not out of fear, but out of understanding. Knowing that your children's education will be based not on compromise, but on their dreams, knowing that you will stay in a relationship not out of obligation, but because of love. And yes, along the way, that old part of your mind will repeatedly whisper that this is too big, that it can't be for you. But in that moment, I want you to answer within yourself. If this wasn't meant for me, why would this message reach my consciousness? Every soul hears the truth it is ready for. And now listen, because this part is very important. In the coming days, some people around you will change. Some will drift away. Some will suddenly become very kind. Some will try to make you feel small. These are all signs that the energy is shifting. When a person enters the next timeline, the characters from the old timeline naturally begin to fall away, and your job is not to hold on to them. Your job is simply to keep moving forward, because the miracle of $926 crore is not just about wealth, but also about identity. It is the name of the moment when you free yourself from small dreams for the first time. And let me also remind you that all of this is happening not by someone else's grace, but by your consent. God only provides opportunities. Acceptance is the work of the soul, and you have accepted. That's why you are still here. That's why your eyes are fixed on these words right now. And so, I have come to deliver this announcement. Your bad times are over. The struggle will not repeat itself. The pattern of your story will change. You will no longer receive humiliation along with hard work. You will no longer receive empty hands in return for your patience. Now every right step will be followed by a tangible result. And when the first sign arrives, whether it seems small or large, do not take it lightly, because great miracles always come through small signs. And if in this moment your heart is telling you that something is truly changing, then hold on to that belief. Because faith is not an emotion, but a state of being. And when you become stable in that state, $926 crore is no longer just an amount of money that will come to you. It becomes your new identity, and all of this has already begun. There is nothing left behind. There is only expansion ahead. And if you truly want to fulfill this cosmic agreement, then clearly declare within yourself, I am ready. I accept it. My $926 crore is coming, and at that very moment God will open the next door for you. And now that you have entered this third flow, I want you to listen very carefully, because this is the turning point where most people falter internally, and I don't want you to be one of them. Keep listening, stay in this energy, and repeatedly affirm within yourself that my time has come. My struggle is over. The paths have opened for me. This is not a mantra. It's a decision. And as soon as you make the decision, God takes responsibility for it. And remember, the miracle of $926 crore is not a one-day event. It's a process that has now been activated. Today there will be signs, tomorrow opportunities, then results, and then permanence. And when all this unfolds, you will look back and understand that every tear, every hungry night, every insult was a stepping stone. And now you stand at that height from where the world looks different. And if your heart feels heavy at this moment, if your eyes are moist, it's not weakness. It's the farewell to the old life that has now ended. And I, God, am giving you this promise at this moment, that what has begun will not stop. What has opened will not close, and what has been written in your name will reach you. Just remember one thing. You have been chosen, and chosen people don't back down. They move forward with complete faith, with complete respect. And in this faith, I want you to repeat this affirmation within yourself, without fear, without hesitation, that my 926 crore dollars is coming. And with that affirmation, God will begin to shape your next reality. And now that you have stabilized in this fourth flow, I am taking you to that depth where only feeling works, not words, because from here on, there is no need for explanation. Here, only reminders are given, and I have come to remind you that whatever you have endured was not in vain. It was creating that space within you where prosperity can now reside. Because wealth doesn't just stay by coming. It stays where the soul is strong and you have passed every test of the soul. You didn't abandon your integrity even when dishonesty seemed easy. You worked hard even when the results weren't visible, and that's why God is now weaving events around you that will overwhelm your logic and eventually silence it, because logic always demands proof. But miracles happen first. Understanding comes later, and therefore in the coming days, you will see things begin to resolve themselves effortlessly. Doors that have been closed for years will open without a sound. People who were never available will contact you themselves. And all this won't happen because you suddenly became greater than someone else. It will happen because your energy has now aligned with a level where opportunities are naturally drawn to you. And I want you to fully immerse yourself in that scene for a moment, where the morning light streams through the window of your new home, where you don't feel the burden of any worries when you wake up, where your first thought isn't about how you'll get by today, but rather about who you can uplift today, who you can bring relief to, who you can give hope to. And in that moment, you realize that 926 crore dollars hasn't changed you. It has given you back your true self, the self that was once suppressed by fear. And that's why I keep saying that this isn't just a story about money. It's a return to identity. It's the rebirth of a soul that had grown weary and begun to question itself. And now that soul is calm, stable, and full of trust. And the greatest test of this trust is that when everything starts to come true, you don't diminish yourself. When good things start to happen, don't think that there will be a price to pay, because that price has already been paid. Every tear, every insult, every lonely night was part of that price. And what is coming now is simply the reward. So, if a slight unease arises within you in the coming moments, don't try to stop it. Let it be, because it's the last shadow of your old life. And shadows only appear when the light is very bright. And the light is very bright right now. It's so powerful that it's burning away every doubt in your path. And I'm telling you clearly, this journey has reached a point of no return. You can't go back to that life where dreams were limited. Now boundaries will only define direction for you, not limitations. And that's why I want you to solidify this resolve within yourself, that you will recognize every sign that comes your way, that you will approach every opportunity with understanding, not fear, and that you will handle all wealth with respect, because only wealth handled with respect grows, and it is because of this respect that 926 crore dollars will come into your life as lasting peace, not fleeting excitement. And now that I have said all this, know that God has completed its preparations. Now it's your turn to do just one thing. Remain steadfast in your faith, without haste, without comparison, without looking back, because your time has come. Your story has taken a turn, and this turn is now leading you to a life where you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You only have to become who you were always meant to be. And with this complete acceptance, with this calm confidence, feel it clearly within yourself one last time and say, I am ready. I accept. My 926 crore dollars is coming. And with this acceptance, God has opened the next chapter for you. And now that you have entered this fifth and even deeper flow, I want you to feel one thing very clearly. This message is no longer just being heard. It has permeated your being. It has mingled with your breath. It has synchronized with your heartbeat. And this is the point where life truly takes a turn. Because here, a person begins to become rich not from the outside, but from within. And when inner wealth descends, it doesn't take long for the outer world to change. You may have noticed that your old fears no longer seem as real to you. The things that once kept you awake at night now seem insignificant. This change hasn't come because circumstances have changed. It has come because you have changed. And when a person changes, God also has to change its language. Now it responds to you not in the language of struggle, but in the language of opportunity. And this is the moment where I've come to remind you that 926 crore dollars is no longer a dream. It's now a process, a moving reality. Just as a river flows without asking when it will reach the sea, it simply flows. And you too are now in that flow. You will receive signs every day. Sometimes in the words of a stranger, sometimes in a path that suddenly opens up, sometimes in a thought that had never crossed your mind before. And all of this is happening because your aura is now embracing expansion. You no longer feel safe thinking small. You feel calm thinking big. And that is the biggest sign that you are on the right path. I know that in your past there have been people who underestimated you, who mocked your dreams, who told you to stop thinking so big and stay grounded. But today, God has come to tell you that only those who fear flying stay grounded, and you are not afraid. You possess the courage that moves forward silently, without making noise, without needing to prove anything. And therefore, the wealth that is now coming into your life will not only change you, it will change your entire environment. The tone of worry in your family will change. Trust will be visible in your children's eyes. Peace will settle into your parents' breaths. And for the first time, you will find yourself feeling that yes, everything is now under control. I don't have to fight anymore. I can choose. And this freedom of choice is true prosperity. 926 crore dollars is the physical manifestation of that freedom so that you can walk the path your soul desires, not the one chosen by necessity. And now listen. because this part is very profound. When all of this starts to come true, some people will feel uncomfortable seeing you change. They will say that you are not the same person you used to be, and they will be right, because you were never meant to remain the same. But you don't have to fight them. You just have to remain calm, because peace is the greatest proof that a person has reached the right place. And in this peace, you will also understand that God, Christ, energy, these are not separate names. They are different forms of the same consciousness, which is reminding you today that you were never alone. You had simply forgotten. And now that this memory has returned, the path to miracles has been cleared. And so I want you to fully immerse yourself in this final flow, without looking at the clock, without counting the time, because time is no longer your enemy, but your friend. And as this message draws to a close, your old story is also coming to an end. The story in which you always waited, always compromised, always held yourself back, is now ending, and in its place, a new story is being born, one in which you don't fear your dreams, but embrace them, in which wealth doesn't feel burdensome, but effortless, in which success doesn't isolate you, but makes you more compassionate. And this is the ultimate truth I am leaving you with. Your time has truly come. This isn't a motivational phrase, it's a description of a state of being. And upon reaching this state, a person only needs to do one thing: maintain faith. Because when faith breaks, energy scatters, and when energy remains stable, reality takes shape. And so, in this final moment, with complete respect, complete trust, and a completely open heart, feel it clearly within yourself and say, "My 926 crore dollars is coming. I accept it. I am ready for it." And as soon as this acceptance is complete, God activates the path for you, a path that can no longer be stopped. And now that you have entered this sixth and most stable flow, I want you to understand that this is no longer just a listening experience. It has become a part of your identity. Because words that reach the soul do not fade with time. They become seeds, and those seeds have now sprouted within you. You are probably feeling that in this moment there is no hurry within you, no anxiety. This peace is a sign that God and your consciousness are beating in the same rhythm. And when the rhythm is aligned, the results begin to manifest automatically. I know there have been many moments in your life when you thought, "No more, I can't go on." But each time, somehow, you rose again, and that resilience was your greatest asset. That resilience is what is allowing the energy of 926 crore dollars to enter your life today. Because God never elevates someone who sits down after falling. It chooses the person who moves forward even after being broken, and you are that person. So now, when you see the first major sign in the coming days, whether it's a sudden piece of information, if an offer comes along that's bigger than you ever imagined, or an opportunity that scares you, don't turn it down. Because fear always stands at the threshold of expansion, and only those who overcome it enter a new world. And I want you to remember at that moment that you are not making this decision alone. The entire cosmic force that brought you this far is standing with you. And that's why you no longer need to prove yourself. You simply need to remain true to yourself, because truth opens doors faster than anything else. And when wealth comes with truth, it doesn't destroy, it creates. You will see that as stability enters your life, the impact of your words will also increase. People will start listening to you. They will value your advice because you are no longer just speaking. You are speaking from experience, and experience is what makes any person influential. And with this influence, you will reach places where you never even dared to imagine yourself standing. But now, standing there, you won't be surprised because inwardly you have already arrived, and this inner arrival becomes the outer achievement. Therefore, in this final flow, I want to connect you not with a grand promise, but with a profound truth. Your life will no longer be driven by reaction. It will be driven by choice. You will choose which direction to go, who to walk with, and who to empower. And this freedom of choice is the true meaning of 926 crore dollars. And as all this gradually becomes clear, you will also understand that this message could not have come at any other time. It had to come at this precise moment because you can now handle it. And with this understanding, God is giving you this final confirmation. Whatever has been activated in your name will come to you. There is no delay, no confusion, only the right order. And now, the next step in this order is yours. To move forward without noise, without pretense, with complete faith. And as you move forward, quietly acknowledge within yourself, my 926 crore dollars is coming. I am ready for it. And as soon as this acceptance stabilizes in your consciousness, God propels your new reality forward with full force. And now that you have entered this seventh flow, understand that from here on, no inspiration is given. Here, confirmation is given because the soul that has come this far no longer needs explanation. It only needs to be stabilized. And I have come to stabilize you so that whatever has been activated can manifest without hindrance. You may have noticed that you no longer feel the need to worry about your future. It's as if an inner voice is saying that everything is taken care of. This voice is not an illusion. This is the inner witness that awakens when a person aligns with the correct timeline. And you are on the right timeline. Therefore, any changes that now occur in your life will not shake you. They will strengthen you. You will no longer question your worth based on minor ups and downs. My dear child, if you are hearing this message at this moment, understand that this time is part of God's own plan. This is not just a change of date, but the shedding of the old burdens of your life. Today, a new beginning is being announced for you from heaven. The nights you spent alone, gathering the pieces of your broken dreams. The days you wore a smile to hide your inner pain. The prayers you offered without words. Only sighs. All of them have reached God's heart. Jesus Christ has heard your silence and counted your tears. Today he has come to tell you that the time of waiting is over. The path on which you grew weary and sat down is now going to become a path of miracles. You have asked yourself many times, will my life ever change? Will my hard work ever bear fruit? Will my relationships ever heal? Will my financial situation improve? Will my heart ever find peace again? Today, God says that He has prepared the answer to every question in His own time. You just need to move forward with faith. The past year came not to break you, but to strengthen you. Those who left you did not leave you alone, but cleared the way for you to hold on to me. The doors that closed did so to prevent you from going down the wrong paths. Today, I am opening new doors for you that lead directly to blessings. This year, you don't need to underestimate yourself because God Himself is walking with you. When the world calls you a failure, I will call you victorious. When circumstances frighten you, I will give you courage. When your heart says, "No more," my Spirit will lift you up. Remember, my dear child, you are not an ordinary person. You were born with a purpose. Your life is going to become a testimony. Those who belittled you will be astonished by your transformation. This new year, you need to let go of old wounds, not dwell on them. Forgiveness is not your weakness, but your freedom. As soon as you forgive, the burden within you will be lifted. God says that this year I am going to bring peace to your home, stability to your mind, and success to your endeavors. The things you have struggled for years to achieve will now easily enter your life because the time has come. This year is not a year of excuses, but of decisions. Not a year of fear, but of faith. Not a year of complaints, but of gratitude. As soon as you wake up every morning and say, "Lord, I dedicate this day to you," the direction of your day will change. I also want to tell you that challenges will come your way, but this time they will not come to bring you down, but to lift you up. Behind every test, there is a promotion. Behind every delay, there is a better plan. You are not alone. When you are tired and sit down, I will lift you up in my arms. When you feel that no one understands you, I will understand the language of your heart. My dear child, this year stop comparing yourself to others. Your journey is different. Your timing is different. Your calling is different. What you don't have today, you will have tomorrow. What is incomplete today will be completed. What seems impossible today will become possible because Jesus Christ is with you. This year, you must listen to the voice within you that tells you that you were not made to lose. You were not chosen to be broken, but to shine. The fire in your soul has not been extinguished. It just needs a little wind, and that wind has come today in the form of this message. This year, whenever your heart wavers, remember the cross. Remember the unconditional love given to you. Remember the sacrifice that gave you a new identity. God says that now you will be known not by the identity of the past, but by the hope of the future. There will be power in your words. There will be power in your prayers. There will be blessings in the work of your hands. This year you will be a blessing not only to yourself but also to others. People will look at your life and ask what happened, and you will say that the Lord Jesus Christ changed my story. This year will teach you how to walk by faith without knowing where the next step will lead. This year will also teach you that letting go of control is not defeat, but trust. When you surrender everything into my hands, you will find true peace. My dear child, Stop condemning yourself. You are far more valuable than you think. Every breath of your life has a purpose. This year, when you look at yourself in the mirror, see not a broken person, but a chosen servant. God says, I have prepared you for this time. Your experiences, your pain, your waiting, none of it was in vain. All of it is leading you to the place where you are meant to be. This new year, you must leave behind old fears, old guilt, and old regrets. For I am giving you a new mind, a new heart, and a new vision. My dear child, this message is not just for listening, but for living. From today, make this promise to yourself. No matter the circumstances, you will not give up on faith. You will not give up on hope. You will not give up on prayer, because the God who is with you never fails. And finally, I give you this blessing. This year will not be a year of weeping, but a year of testimony. Not a year of lack, but a year of abundance. Not a year of fear, but a year of love. So rise up, straighten your shoulders, fill your heart with faith, and move forward. Because from today, your new story has begun, and the author of this story is none other than God the Father, Jesus Christ. My dear child, let us move forward from this very moment, from where the flame of faith has been rekindled within you, where your heart has begun to understand that God never abandoned you, but was teaching you at every turn. Now, from this moment, I want to take you deeper, so that your soul may fully understand that this new time has brought not just change, but transformation. The things you have kept hidden in your heart for years, the fears you never shared with anyone, the failures you considered your identity. Today, God says, I am shining my light on all of them, because darkness only exists where light does not reach, and now my light is going to completely fill your life. This year will teach you that every brokenness is not the end. Sometimes, that very brokenness becomes the beginning of a new creation. Just as a pot cannot be made without breaking the clay, so your new self cannot emerge without the breaking of your old self. My dear child, you have suffered much, and now you are not being prepared to suffer more, but to reap the rewards. The seeds you sowed with tears will now be harvested with joy. This is the time to bring forth the strength hidden within you, the strength that remained alive even when you considered yourself weak. Remember, when you said, I can't go on anymore, God said, now it's my turn. And when it's God's turn, even the impossible bows down. In this new phase, you must ignore every voice that tries to pull you back, because those voices belong to your past, not your future. And the purpose of the past is to teach, not to hinder. God says that this year I will connect you with the right people. People who will recognize your purpose, not just your usefulness. Relationships that will not drain you but empower you. The relationships in which you lost yourself, I will now give you relationships in which you can find yourself. This year is a year of restoring self-worth. You will no longer diminish yourself to receive love. You will no longer compromise your principles to gain acceptance. Because when you understand how valuable God has made you, the cheap applause of the world will no longer attract you. My dear child, at this time you must change your thinking, because a changed mindset is the key to a changed life. When you focus on lack, lack will increase. But when you walk in gratitude, blessings will seek you out. This year, learn to give thanks in the little things, because gratitude is the language that heaven understands immediately. When you say, "Lord, thank you for what I have," God will say, "Now I will give you more." This year, I will also teach you patience, because some promises are not fulfilled immediately, but at the right time. Delay is not denial, but preparation. And I am making you so strong that when the blessings come, you will be able to handle them. My dear child, do not think that your struggle was in vain. Every struggle has been used to refine your character, so that when you reach great heights, you will not fall into arrogance. This year will make you great in humility, for God's power resides in a humble heart. I also want to tell you that prayer is not just about asking, but about connecting. When you connect with me, you will receive guidance in every decision. You will know when to stop and when to move forward, when to speak and when to remain silent. This understanding will save you from many mistakes this year. My dear child, you have often felt left behind by others. But remember, it's not the speed of the race that matters, but the direction. You are moving in the right direction, and that is the greatest victory. This year you will also experience that when you do good to others, it will return to you. For what you sow, you will reap. Therefore, let your words be sweet. Let your actions be compassionate. Let your heart be forgiving. For these are all seeds that will bear great fruit in the days to come. God says that this year I am also placing my hand, smile, upon your health. Mental fatigue, emotional burdens, and spiritual weakness will all gradually disappear. You will feel energetic again. You will find a purpose for waking up in the morning. You will regain the joy of living. My dear child, this year will also teach you that loneliness is not always negative. Sometimes in that solitude, God speaks most clearly. So when you are alone, do not be afraid. Consider it an opportunity. In that time, I will fill you with things that can never be heard in the noise of the world. This year you must recognize and trust your inner voice, for that voice will not lead you astray. God says that you are no longer defined by the mistakes of your past. So, my dear children, I now take you further through that flow, where your mind has begun to accept that God's plan is greater than your understanding, and your heart is slowly grasping the truth that everything that has happened so far was not to break you, but to prepare you. Now, from this moment on, I want to tell you that the times to come are not just words of hope, but living experiences. The things you once locked away in the recesses of your mind, believing them impossible, will now be manifested before you, one by one. Because when God begins to work in a life, He never does things halfway. He brings about transformation from the root. My dear children, you have often said to yourself, "Perhaps I am weak. Perhaps I lack something." But today, God says that the flaw wasn't in you. The flaw lay in the environment in which you were trying to prove yourself. Now, I am taking you out of that environment and bringing you to a place where your worth will be recognized, where your presence will be a blessing, not a burden. It's time to let go of the despair that has settled within you. For despair is the fog that prevents you from seeing the clarity of what lies ahead. When you emerge from this fog, you will realize that the path was already paved. It was just that your eyes were blinded by a lack of faith. My dear children, this year you will experience again and again that when you stand at a crossroads of decision and don't know what to do, suddenly a peace will descend within you, pointing you in the right direction. It will be my voice, guiding you from within. So don't suppress that voice, but learn to trust it, because I have written my law in your heart, and when you follow that law, you will not stumble. At this time, I am also teaching you that not every smile is genuine and not every silence is weakness. You must recognize people not by their words but by their actions. For in this new phase, I want to free you from unnecessary burdens. Until now, you have carried the weight of many people, their hopes, their expectations, their resentments. But now the time has come for you to put down that burden, because it never belonged to you. I want to lighten you so that you can soar. My dear children, this year will also show you that when you stand up for yourself, it is not selfishness, but self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation on which a lasting life is built. Now, you will not try to prove yourself right by remaining silent every time. Instead, you will stand with the truth where necessary, even if no one stands with you, because when you stand with the truth, God Himself stands with you. This year, there will be some departures in your life. Some people, some habits, some thoughts. But do not consider those departures as defeats, because what is leaving is making room for your future. You often hold on to the old because you fear the new. But remember, as long as your fist is full, how can new blessings come into it? That is why I am teaching you to let go, because in letting go lies the secret of receiving. My dear children, your soul is currently receiving healing. Even if this process seems slow to you, deep healing always happens quietly. You won't suddenly become overjoyed by making noise, but you will become stable from within, and that stability will keep you safe from any storm. This year, you will learn that you don't have to win every day. Sometimes simply persevering is the greatest victory, and when you persevere, I fight for you. You don't need to prove yourself every time, because those who want to see will see, and those who don't will not believe in any evidence. So don't waste your energy on those who are blind to your light. Instead, let your light burn, because the darkness will dissipate on its own. My dear child, this year you will also realize the power of your words. What you speak will gradually shape your environment. Therefore, stop speaking negatively about yourself, your future, and your circumstances, because words are not just sounds, they are seeds, and every seed bears fruit in due time. That's why I want you to speak only what you want to see in your life, even if it's not visible yet, because faith is having the courage to speak without seeing. At this time, I am also teaching you that prayer is not just words spoken while kneeling, but a way of life in which you remember me before every decision. You thank me in every joy, and you cling to me in every sorrow. When your prayer becomes a way of life, you won't have to search for miracles separately, because your life itself will become a miracle. My dear child, this year will also show you that what you considered endings were actually turning points from where the story took a new direction. You will look back and smile, realizing that if all that hadn't happened, you wouldn't be where you are today. So stop fighting with the past. Accept it, because it has brought you this far, and I will take you forward from here. At this time, I am teaching you the depth of patience. Blessings received in haste often become a burden, but blessings received at the right time balance life. So don't run away from waiting, because character is built in waiting, and without character heights are dangerous. My dear child, this year you will also understand that not everyone can travel with you on your journey. Some people were only meant to be with you for a short time, and that was enough. Don't expect more from them, because everyone has different capacities, and when you understand this, your heart will be free from bitterness. At this time, I am guiding you to practice gratitude so that you may learn to be happy with less, because only those who learn to be happy with less can handle abundance. Whatever increases in your life this year will not spoil you, but rather refine you, because you are now being prepared from within. My dear child, when you feel that the road is long and the destination is far away, remember that I am counting every step and guiding you forward. You may not see your progress, but heaven is watching, and you will surely receive the fruits of your efforts at the right time. Finally, I assure you that this journey, which you sometimes thought you were undertaking alone, was never truly solitary. I have been, am, and will be with you every moment. When you laughed, when you cried, when you were silent, and even when you were broken. So there is no need to fear any more, because the God who walks with you will not abandon you halfway. This story is not over yet. It is now entering its most beautiful chapter, and every word of that chapter is being written with grace. My dear child, from the depths of this experience, I am now leading you further to a place where your mind is slowly beginning to accept that there is no point in turning back, because what lies ahead is truer and brighter than anything before. Now is the time for you to understand that God's work is always done quietly. He doesn't make a fuss. He brings about change within you, and that change shakes the outside world. You have often felt that everything should change suddenly, but God says that I bring about not sudden, but lasting change, so that what you receive cannot be taken away from you. In this new phase, you will taste the fruits of patience, the patience that was watered with your tears, the patience that was strengthened during lonely nights. Now that same patience will set you apart, because when others panic, you will remain calm. When others break down, you will remain composed, and people will ask where this peace within you comes from. Then you won't even need to say that this peace is a gift from God, because your life itself will be the answer. My dear child, you are now entering a phase where you won't need to understand everything. You will simply need to trust. because trust is the bridge that takes you to places your understanding cannot reach. Until now, you have tried to navigate your life with logic. But now, faith will be your guide. And when faith is your guide, the paths open up on their own. At this time, I am also teaching you that not every blessing comes wrapped in a pretty package. Some blessings come disguised as hard work. Some blessings come in the form of struggle. But ultimately, those blessings make you stronger. So when difficulties arise, don't ask why. Instead, ask, what can I learn from this? Because every lesson is preparing you for the next level. My dear child, this year you will experience many times that you have become more sensitive than before. You will feel even small things deeply. This is not a weakness, but maturity, because it is not a hardened heart, but a tender heart that can hear God's voice. So don't let your heart turn to stone. Let it remain alive, even if it sometimes hurts, because that same heart will later become a source of support for many. At this time, I am also telling you that your pain will not be in vain. The tears you have hidden will become a source of hope for someone else. The experiences you have gone through will give you the strength to understand others, and you will unknowingly become a balm for many broken hearts, because God never lets anyone's pain go to waste. He transforms it into service. My dear child, this year you must learn to distinguish between your inner voice and the external noise, because not all advice is for your good, and not all praise is sincere. When you feel peace within, that is the right direction. No matter what the world says, because the world sees your results. But God knows your purpose, and walking according to that purpose is true success. At this time, I am also teaching you that walking alone is sometimes better than getting lost in the crowd. So, if you feel alone, don't panic, because this is not loneliness, but a time of preparation. Preparation for the stage where you are meant to stand. You are currently behind the curtain, but the stage is already set, and at the right time, the curtain will rise, and you will stand where you are meant to be. My dear child, this year you must understand the value of your time, because time is the only wealth that once gone never returns. So, invest your time not in complaining, but in building. Not in comparison, but in progress. Because when you take care of your present, your future will automatically become beautiful. At this time, I am also teaching you that it's not necessary to take big steps every day. Sometimes, a small but right step changes the direction of life. So, don't put pressure on yourself. Just keep moving forward consistently. My dear child, now, through this very flow, I am leading you further, where this feeling is deepening within you that you are no longer the same person you were before, and this change has not happened suddenly, but has taken shape gradually from within. Now is the time for you to understand that when God gives a new direction to a life, He first strengthens its roots so that the coming heights will not destabilize you. You thought this delay was holding you back, but the truth is that this delay was preparing you from within so that when the opportunity comes, you will not panic, but will be able to embrace it with steadfastness. My dear child, right now your soul stands at a turning point where it is easy to retreat, but it is right to move forward. God always gives you the courage to do what is right, not what is easy. So if you feel a slight fear within you, understand that you have entered the realm of growth, because fear comes where the old ends and the new begins. Now I also want to tell you that in the times to come, you will not receive everyone's approval of your journey. Some will be uncomfortable with your changing nature because your transformation will expose their hidden discontent. But you must not stop, because God has called you not for the approval of people, but for His own purpose. This year you must learn that it's not necessary to answer every question. Sometimes silence is the most powerful answer, because silence connects you not to confusion, but to clarity, and clarity is where God speaks the clearest. My dear children, at this time, I am also teaching you that it's not necessary to appear strong in every situation. Admitting fatigue isn't defeat. Rather, it's admitting that you are human. And when you accept your limitations, God reveals His infinite power. So don't be ashamed of your tears. They are not a testament to your weakness, but a testament to your truth, and God works deeply from a true heart. This year, you will experience that some things that once attracted you will now seem empty, and some things that once seemed ordinary will now bring you deep peace. This change is a sign that your mind is moving away from external noise and toward inner stillness. And this is where true joy is born. My dear children, at this time, I also want to remind you that you are not the result of your past mistakes. You are the result of the grace that lifted you up after every fall. So stop punishing yourself, because why do you bind yourself by repeatedly remembering the offense I forgave? Freedom is when you give yourself the same forgiveness that God has already given. This year, you will learn that not every day will be the same. Some days will be filled with enthusiasm, and some will be simply walking by faith. But both days are valuable, because enthusiasm gives you momentum, and faith gives you direction. So even when you don't have enthusiasm, keep taking steps with faith, because faith also moves without emotion. My dear children, at this time, I am also showing you that you don't have the responsibility to help everyone. Some people don't want help. They only want sympathy. And some people don't want change. They only want to complain. So learn to spend your energy wisely, because your energy is limited, and God wants you to invest it in the right places where life will truly change. This year, you will also experience that some people get angry when you set boundaries. But remember, boundaries are not walls, but doors that determine who can come in and who cannot. And healthy boundaries connect you not to fatigue, but to balance. My dear child, at this time I am also teaching you that comparison is a poison that slowly destroys joy. So don't doubt your own progress by looking at the progress of others. Not every seed bears fruit at the same time, but every seed, if planted in the right soil, will surely bear fruit. And you are in the right soil, for I myself am watching over you. This year you will also understand that some answers will come to you not immediately after prayer, but in the midst of prayer, when you sit quietly with me without asking, without speaking. For in that silence, I will give you the direction that cannot be expressed in words. My dear child, at this time I also want to tell you that your simplicity is not your weakness, but your strength. In this world where pretense is increasing, truth is becoming rare, and only what is true endures in the end. So do not change your nature. Only mature your understanding. This year you will also be taught that accepting every opportunity is not always wise. Sometimes saying no keeps you on the right path, because not every open door is for you, and not every closed door is a loss. Some closed doors are there to protect you from the wrong path. My dear child, the turmoil you feel within you at this time is not confusion, but a sign of expansion. Just as a seed, when it breaks open within the soil, feels darkness and pressure, but that very pressure leads it to become a sprout. Similarly, this uncomfortable time is not destroying you, but transforming you. So do not fight the process. Remain in it with trust. This year you will also experience that when you accept yourself, the opinions of others have less effect on you, because self-acceptance is the armor that protects you from external criticism, and this self-acceptance comes when you realize that the way God created you is not a mistake, but a plan. My dear child, at this time I am also teaching you that every morning brings a new opportunity.